here's a Cherokee Trailhawk I picked out for a reason, and it's because of this little guy right down here. I've heard some people at the tech center call this the Magic 8 Ball. It's actually a radar sensor that goes out in front of the vehicle and looks for cars in front of you. So that means this one has adaptive cruise control with forward collision warning. And it also does a couple of other cool things I will show you here in just a second. So let's hop in. So here we're inside the Trailhawk, and one of the reasons you know you're in a Trailhawk is because of the red accent stitching and the four-low and the lock that you've got down there for the rear end. So kind of a cool thing. It makes this one a little special for off-road. So I'm going to put my foot on the brake, press the start button, fire things up. It does its quick stretch. And a couple of those really cool buttons. So this car right here, this is the park assist. It'll help me park the car parallel or perpendicular using all the sensors that are on this vehicle. I can also have lane keep assist. So it's going to use a camera mounted up in the windshield by the rearview mirror to watch the lines on the road. And if I start to wander outside of those lines, it's going to know when I'm getting close to it, and it's going to give me a little warning or a message here on the Vehicle Information Center. And it actually has the power to steer me back into the lane just slightly. So it gives me a little bit of a vibrating feedback telling me, hey, pay attention, you're going off the road. These buttons are on here too, so you can disable these features. And this over here is our forward collision warning system. So if there is some sort of a panic brake in front of you or an object that darts out in front of you, the radar and the camera are going to notice it, and it's going to give you a big flashing warning up here in the Vehicle Information Center. There's an audible chime that's definitely noticeable, and it just tells you, hey, heads up, pay attention, that there's something to be alert to up ahead. So we've got all these adaptive cruise control features. It's not like our cars are driving themselves, but they will help you drive down the road with very, very minimal input or feedback. So it's kind of an interesting setup. I've driven them long distances with the adaptive cruise control and down around Auburn Hills and Detroit area on I-75 when the traffic is varying between 30 and 60, 70 miles an hour. It is pretty awesome to just leave your cruise control on and have the car do all of the work of braking and acceleration and maintaining the proper distance. Let's try one of these out real quick. I'm going to pull out of this parking space here and get to a spot where we can try the active park assist, and we'll see how it helps us out. All right, so now we're cruising through the lot. We've got the vehicle in drive. We're looking up ahead, and we're going to tell it we would like to park. So it asked me if I want to do parallel or press OK for perpendicular. And that shows me perpendicular. So that's what we'd like to do. So now it's going to search. So it's going to use all those sensors out there to look and measure. So here it says stop and remove hands from wheel. It just found a parking space. Shift into reverse. And it even gives me my backup camera. And we're going to start to back up. And it's aiming for that spot back there. Steering wheel is moving all on its own. It's making little adjustments. It'll still beep at you when you get close, so you always want to check your mirrors as you're doing this. And you're in control of the vehicle's speed. You're in control of the brake. So you're watching it as it's going back in. Steering wheel is making some more adjustments. Keep checking our mirrors and our camera. And just parked itself. Put it into park. Complete. So a pretty cool feature, using a lot of technology and a lot of sensors on these cars, but you can see how easy it is to use. I didn't have to touch the steering wheel. My foot was on the brake pedal, and I controlled the shift from reverse to neutral. Even if it's a tight parking space, which I lucked out, this is a pretty big one. If it's a tighter one, it'll actually ask you to put it back into drive and correct a couple of times to line you up perfectly. And a really good tip too, this one, this parking space was on our right. As a default, it'll look to the right. If you had a parking space that was on the left though, and you wanted to park there, simply tell it you want to park on the left side by clicking your directional a few times, and it's going to search for a parking space on the left side. using different sensors. So pretty cool stuff. Who knows what we're gonna come out with next. So here we're gonna do it one more time from a different view so you can see the steering wheel and that my hands don't actually touch it. I'll put us into park assist mode. So we'll switch over to perpendicular. It told me it found a space and it's asking me to shift to reverse. So we're going to shift to reverse and no hands on the wheel. I get to be in control of the gas and the brake. So I tell it how fast we're going to go. And this is a lot tighter parking space here. So as I back up, it's going to tell me we're getting close. And it just adjusted for me to move back forward. And it told me to shift into reverse. It made a slight adjustment of the wheel. And I'm still checking all of my mirrors. Right back into reverse. Now it's got me pretty well straightened out. And it's measuring on both sides to make sure that I'm equally spaced. And I tell it where to stop. We'll put it into park. So now you can see where we're at. Pretty cool. And I'll get out and I'll show you how tight this parking space actually was, because it was, I don't know, I've got maybe 1.5 feet on the left and about 1 foot on the right or so. And that's where the Jeep parked itself. Pretty cool feature.